So, what if you could solve a massive $100 million national health crisis with just a tiny fraction of that cost? Today, we're going to break down a pitch that aims to do exactly that. And this isn't just about some medical breakthrough, it's really a masterclass in strategic thinking, how to turn a relatively small investment into a full blown health revolution. It all kicks off with this one number: 60%. Just think about that for a second. For more than half of all cancer survivors, their big victory is kind of bittersweet. They've beaten cancer, which is amazing, only to be thrown into this new, chronic, and incredibly painful battle. The source material we're looking at gives this problem a really powerful name: the silent neuropathy tax. And look, this isn't just some clever phrase. It completely reframes the issue. It's not just a medical side effect anymore. It's a hidden, nationwide economic burden. It's a tax that people pay not with money, but with pain, with lost jobs, and with huge government spending. So, what does this tax actually cost? Let's dig in and break down the real-world impact, both for the people who are suffering and, for the nation as a whole. Okay, let's get specific here. We're talking about CIPN, or chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy. Basically, the very same drugs that are powerful enough to kill cancer can also just wreak havoc on your nervous system. This causes this constant, agonizing feeling of burning in pins and needles. It's a side effect that can stick around for years, and it completely changes a survivor's quality of life. And the ripple effect from this is just immense. For the patient, that chronic pain often means they can't work, which can lead to severe depression. For the government, it means millions upon millions spent just trying to manage the pain. But then there's this hidden cost too: a higher rate of kidney failure, which puts even more strain on the whole healthcare system. So the problem is absolutely massive. How does this pitch even propose to solve it? Well, it's with a pretty elegant concept they call the hydrogen shield. The real beauty of this solution is its simplicity. The treatment basically acts like a shield. It goes in, it finds the toxic byproducts from the chemo, these things called radicals, and it quenches them. It neutralizes the threat before it has a chance to, fry the nerves. It's like a preventative strike, right at the molecular level. Now, a great idea is one thing, but having a credible plan, that's a whole other ballgame. This is where the pitch gets really practical. It lays out a super clear path to proof, and that turns the funding request from a simple ask into a really strategic investment. And here is the number at the very heart of this proposal: 600,000 ringgit. Now, this isn't just some number they pulled out of thin air. The whole point of the pitch is to show exactly how this seed capital is going to generate an incredible return on investment for the entire nation's health. And here's the high-level breakdown of where that money goes. You can see right away where the priorities are. The biggest piece of the pie, 40%, goes directly to proving this thing works in actual humans. That's the clinical pilot. 30% is for the core science in the lab, and the rest is for operations and for locking down the intellectual property. And if we drill down, here's the detail behind those percentages. That clinical pilot? It's a 50-patient study they're calling the pain deletion study. The lab work is all about finalizing the solution's unique chemical fingerprint. Operations means conducting audits at 5 big hospital oncology sites to get real-world data. And that last 10%? That's for filing a global patent, which, as you're about to see, is the key to the entire endgame. And this is where the pitch really shifts gears. It goes from being a medical project to what the source calls the billionaire patent play. It's all about leveraging that small investment in intellectual property to create massive global value and attract a huge, huge payday. The key to this whole strategy is something called the PCT, the Patent Cooperation Treaty. Now, this isn't just any old patent. It's a strategic tool. Think of it like a master key. It allows a single application to start the patent protection process in over 150 countries, all at the same time. It's how a small startup can instantly get a seat at the global table. So filing that one PCT patent triggers 2 incredibly important shifts. First, it catapults the company's valuation. It goes from being a local startup to a global biotech asset, literally overnight. Second, it basically paints a giant target on its back, in a good way, attracting all the attention from big pharma. And this quote from the source material just perfectly sums up the strategy. Once you have a proven, patented solution, the global pharma giants, they're not going to waste time and money trying to copy you. It's way cheaper and faster for them to just license your tech, or even better, buy your company outright. That is the exit strategy.
So, the pitch brings it all home in this final section, laying out the concrete timeline. This isn't some far off dream. This is the actual roadmap that takes the project from a government grant all the way to becoming a national standard of care. It's a very clear, very aggressive 18-month plan. The first 6 months are for building out the prototype. The next 6 are for running that absolutely crucial 50-patient study. And then the final 6 months are all about taking that pain delusion data, walking it straight to the Ministry of Health, and securing a national agreement. It's a direct line from proof to policy.
And that brings us to the really big question here. This pitch isn't just about asking for money. It's a blueprint for how to leverage public funds to create a multi-billion-dollar asset that solves a national crisis. It's a model where a small grant can lead to a massive payday, and the profits could then be reinvested into even more public health solutions. So, is this the future of innovation? This kind of partnership between government funding and private smarts, all aimed at tackling our biggest health challenges?